The Chinese knot is similar to a French knot, but it has a little stalk, whereas the French knot does not. It's also known as the blind knot, the forbidden knot, and the Peking knot. We can work them either individually or in a line to fill up space. So I'm going to start with the ones working in a line. If we're working in a line, we're working between two lines that are fairly close together. We're going to come up on the bottom line and pull through. Now we want our needle pointing down over the lines. We're going to cross over the needle with our thread coming out of the fabric, wrap it around the needle so that we get one wrap. Then hold the thread up so that it doesn't slide off the needle. We're going to go down in the top line, come up on the bottom line. Now hold on to your thread and pull it down to keep everything taut. We don't want to be going over our thread to make a blanket stitch or anything, and pull through, and that gives us our little knot up there. And then we just do that again. The thread is coming out on the bottom line. We're going to wrap it over the needle, which is pointing down. Come around under the needle and back over the top of it. Hold your thread up so it doesn't slide off the needle. Put your needle down slightly to the left of where your last stitch was. On the top line, come up on the bottom line. Now pull your, oops, I do not want to come through a loop. And pull through. So I'm getting my little knots up here on the top. So wrap the thread over the top of the needle, under the needle. Hold your thread up so it doesn't slide off the needle. If it does, start over. We're going down slightly to the left of where our previous stitch was, into the top line, coming out on the bottom line. We do not want the thread under the needle at this point. Pull through. And there's our next knot. So we just keep doing this all the way down. I am using a milliner's needle. Those make it easier to slide your knots through or over the needle, down on the top, up on the bottom, and pull through. This is a little confusing at first. Okay, so we have our thread on the bottom line coming out of the fabric, cross over the top of the needle, wrap around under it, and come back to the top. We're taking the needle down on the top line, slightly to the left of where our previous stitch was, bringing it back up on the bottom line, and pull through. Over the needle, wrap around, down on the top line, up on the bottom line. My thread needs to be above my needle, not under it at this point, and pull through. Wrap it over my needle, under my needle, down in the top line, up on the bottom line, pulling my thread. I'm putting tension on it and pulling it down, but my needle is under the thread, and pull through. Just do a couple more. Over, do not want my thread under the needle, and pull through. When I am ready to finish, I'm going to do one last knot. Go down on the top line, just don't come up on the bottom line, and pull through. So let's look at another way to do this. This is more for the individual ones. I'm going to bring my needle up from the back of the fabric, loop my thread around to the left. I can pick up that loop, whoops, and flip it because I want the thread that's coming out of the fabric to go under the thread, over the thread. that is going through the needle. Then I'm going to take my needle inside the loop I just made, and somewhere near where I came up, but not in exactly the same spot, I'm going to put the needle back down. I haven't pulled it all the way through yet, and I can adjust for how big a loop I want there. Then I'm going to hold on to it and pull through. So with this, I get a little loop, almost like a little dangly earring. So let me do that again. I'm going to come up. I want my thread going off to the left. I'm going to take it and flip it so that I get a loop. The thread coming up out of the fabric is going up and over the thread that's in the needle. I'm going to take my needle back down somewhere close to where I came out, but not in exactly the same hole. And then I pull my loop up how tight I want it. You can snug it all the way up to the needle if you want, like that, and pull through. Let's come up. Thread looping around to the left. I'm going to flip it so that I have the thread coming out of the fabric going over the thread that's in the needle. I'm going to take my needle down inside that loop somewhere near where I came up, but not in exactly the same place. I'm going to pull up till I have the size loop I want. Then I'm going to hold it with my thumb and finger underneath and pull through. Another way to do it is just to bring the thread up over your finger, roll your finger towards you, and that makes my loop crossed over, just like if we were picking it up to do it. And then it's the same process inside the loop. Pull up however tight you want that loop and pull through. So up, over your finger, roll your finger towards yourself so that I get the same kind of loop as I had before. So whichever way is easier for you. Put the needle down in, pull up to whatever size loop you want, and pull through. So that's the Chinese knot.